I hate Dust 2 because it's just only run and gun.
I just think some maps are pretty boring, like Dust 2.
My least favorite map is Dust 2. I can't cross to my bomb site without being shot at.
Garrett is going to be waiting. Hiko charges in, doesn't check.
Oh, what?
Oh my god! Inhuman reactions!
On Crims, Flusher in the back lines. He's out of ammo. A knife is out. What's happening? Flusher! He's getting stabbed. He goes down. Ricky!
It's their G-side where they really struggle.
What? He's trapped behind the box. He gets a shot. He goes for more. He's going to hit it on Dennis. And now it's all about Guardian. Oh, he gets a shot. Oh, my God.
For Simple to actually get through this, he's going to throw the AWP in. Oh, my God. Simple, what is happening?
They're ready to shoot some ducks as they cross the middle. It's going to be a challenge. And Apex, not in this lifetime.
FNX, the last man alive. He's going to tap the bomb. One shot.
One in the game! He's done it again!
As with any sequel, we can't talk about the story of Dust 2 without talking about Dust the First. After being unveiled for the first time in November 1999, DE Dust quickly solidified itself as not only Counter-Strike's most popular map, but the one with the craziest origin story.
One November, my little brother went out with my mum into the shops and she asked him, Robert, do you want to buy a birthday present for Dave? And he went, yes. And they just happened to pick up Half-Life that day. That evening, my mum told my little brother Robert to just go and hide it, just ready for his birthday. Instead, he tried to install it on the family PC and play it himself, at which point I found out. And from that evening, I was hooked on Half-Life. And that same evening, I found out that Half-Life came with the Worldcraft mapping tool.
Dust wasn't the product of a seasoned map maker or a soon-to-be designer at Valve. It was handcrafted by Dave Johnston, a 16-year-old from Suffolk who discovered a Half-Life mod called Counter-Strike and needed something to do on his summer vacation.
The mapper in me got interested. I started looking around the files and found cstrike.wad, which was a Counter-Strike texture file filled with all these real-life style textures, brickwork, tiles, concrete, all these things that are different to all the Half-Life textures I've been making maps with up until that time. And so I started making my very first Counter-Strike map that evening.
And after catching the attention of the game's co-creators with his first map, CS Tire, Dave was given the objective of creating something new that could launch with Counter-Strike's next beta release.
Early on when we were developing, the community feedback would basically color our next beta release. There was so much energy at that time and so many fans who really felt like they were part of the development.
People were just submitting so much content. We were getting maps, I don't know, maybe 100 a week.
Known for its all-too recognizable arches, roadways, and desert aesthetic, Dave's inspiration for DE Dust stemmed from his adolescent obsession with early screenshots of Team Fortress 2 Brotherhood of Arms.
Well, they said they were hooked up with a texture artist, which happened to be MacMan, aka Chris Ashton. And they said, okay, Chris Ashton will help you make some textures. What do you want? I told Chris Ashton, okay, I want these Team Fortress 2 screenshots. And so I said, okay, please just make these screenshots. And he did. He made perfect facsimiles of these screenshots. And I started copying out the first part of this Team Fortress 2 map that I've seen in these screenshots. And that's how Dust was born.
Funnily enough, Dave didn't think twice about taking inspiration from Team Fortress, since he figured that only a handful of people would ever see his map, never mind load into it. But as we now know, DE Dust was what you'd refer to as an instant classic. In addition to being one of the first maps where the objective was to focus on a bomb plant, players found the layout to be accessible, intuitive, and easy to learn.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. How it all came together as a piece.
Within no time, the 24/7 Dust servers were alive and filled to the brim. Come the new year, Valve had acquired Counter-Strike. From that point on, Dust had cemented itself as the most popular map in any first-person shooter. So it was only natural that the game's ever-growing community expected a sequel, especially since it quickly became all too clear that Dust wasn't especially suitable for high-level play, a point brought up by the War Owl.
But as we all know, Dust isn't really a great layout for a competitive map. It's fundamentally flawed in that respect. Terrorists rush a single, narrow hallway, the only way into the bomb site, and the terrorists don't really have that many options to move around the map. There's no mid-game. Every round plays out nearly the same way.
The issue is that for Dave, producing a second Dust worthy of the name felt like an impossible task. So in an effort to thwart expectations, he set out to construct Dust 3, his reasoning being that the third installment in a movie franchise is almost always inferior to the first. And with CS 1.1, the world was finally introduced to what will become the most iconic, influential, and ubiquitous FPS map ever made, Dust 2. It didn't take long for Dust 2 to solidify itself as the locus of both casual and competitive action, as it quickly became the go-to stomping grounds in public servers and eventually professional tournaments. Unlike its predecessor, Dust 2's scrappy yet structured layout was both built and balanced around competitive play. Sure, it lent itself to casual, run-of-the-mill rowdiness, but it was also a place where masters could test their mettle.
The layout of Dust 2 is its greatest strength. It is what would become defined as the 4-square layout. Consider a 2x2 square grid, where the edges denote the passageways on the map. Now consider the layout of Dust 2. It almost perfectly follows this design, the only anomaly being short A connecting to the bomb site instead of into the side of long A. This layout gives both teams tactical options. The terrorists can use the middle passageways to rotate between the two bomb sites and find an opening, and fake out their opponents, and the counter-terrorists can rotate between them to try and be in the right position for when the terrorists decide to push. If either team sees an opening, they can push through to take a positional advantage, or end up in a firefight to determine who gets to keep that positional advantage.
For over a decade, Dust 2 stood as one of the internet's most recognizable hangouts and a literal second home to counter-strikers across the globe. In addition to teaching newcomers the fundamentals, it engendered some of the hypest highlights this fabled franchise has ever seen. And not just in 1.6. The map was given a facelift as part of Counter-Strike Source's release in 2004, and in spite of the game's relative unpopularity as an esport, Dust's ever-popular successor continued to set the stage for dazzlers everywhere.
2v4, Dragon's in big trouble. Fragmaster's looking strong. 1v4 now. Scream has a big job on his hands. He gets one onto instead. He gets another one. That's 3. Scream spamming away. Neil doesn't get the defuse, and Scream.
And now here comes AZK up the catwalk. Another nice shot after taking down FCL. Now we're in a 1-on-1 versus Dr. Strangelove here. He knows that he is under him. This is going to decide 9-6 or 10-5. AZK coming around the corner and is able to take Dr. Strangelove out. So now we're got a 10-5 half.
But it wasn't until the wildly anticipated launch of Global Offensive in 2012 that Johnston's masterpiece and Counter-Strike at large could truly be said to have entered the modern era. And what an era it would shape up to be.
Garrett is going to be waiting. Hiko charges in, doesn't check. Oh, what? Oh my God! Inhuman reactions!
In comes Kenny S. Oh my God, Kenny S with 3 insane kills.
1v2 running up here. P250 out, jumping and shooting. He gets one more kill. Looking for it. He's got him hunted down. Time is up. Oh my God, Garrett, you're going to be kidding me. He gets the last kill in 1 second left. Nitro does have a Molotov and another smoke, so it could be really rough for Simple to actually get through this. He's going to throw the AWP in. Oh my god! Simple, what is happening?
Here's the thing though. As CSGO became more competitive, so too did it become more studied, sophisticated, and strategic. With rosters theory crafting angles, rotations, and executes like never before, a demand arose for maps that rewarded such intricate, tactical play.
Best map in CSGO would have to be a toss-up between Overpass and Nuke for me. For Nuke, at least, it's like very tactical and like there's a lot of things that go into like actually playing it well. And then for Overpass, there's a lot of space and it's like also very tactical as well. So it's just like, yeah, just like you have freedom to do what you want, but at the same time, you have to be smart about it.
Dust 2, on the other hand, in spite of its immortal status, the map was, well, kind of a shit show. It was open, expansive, was impossible for the CTs to rotate on, and had all but cemented itself as this puggy, snowbally nightmare where cerebral, big-brained Counter-Strike was eschewed in favor of holding down your W key. In fact, it was probably Johnston himself who put it best. If Dust is a map for casual matches, Dust 2 is a map for organized massacres.
With a stunning shot to shot down Olaf Meister. It's now a 4v4. JW still alive. Can he get a kill on Frims? Flusher in the back lines. He's out of ammo. A knife is out. What's happening? Flusher. He's getting stabbed. He goes down. He drops Flusher. It's going to be a 2v2. No boss land. And there it is. Happy. Double kill and Envy. They take the pistol.
It was the one place where pretending you were in a deathmatch server could actually be a very viable strategy.
It's time. It's time, James. It's time for Counter-Strike again. But I don't get too attached to it. Oh my god. Okay. Alright then. God, JW, he sees... Oh my god, what? James, what's going on? They're all dead.
What just happened? What just happened?
Oh my god.
Now, to be fair, that wasn't always a bad thing. Dust 2 is, was, and always will be an aimer's paradise, the wild west of Counter-Strike.
You can get reverse steamrolled on your own map pick if you're going to run the risk of Mirage Dust 2, because they're so aim-centric maps that if one team just gets hot individually, they will destroy you.
And he has been top fragging for a very long time here on Dust 2. It's on Shox in a 1-on-3 to try and keep it alive. Otherwise, we'll go to a 5th map in the grand finals. Shox tabs out one, and that's a deadly kill. Goes for the second, and he's moving closer, looking for the quad clutch here. FNX, the last man alive. He's going to tap the bomb once. Shox.
The issue is that oftentimes it felt as if the map's aim-centric structure was a little too abusable. For casuals, this could be both unfriendly.
I will say that Dust 2's been out for a while. I see that there's gonna be new updates and stuff for it. Like they're definitely gonna bring out something to do with Dust 2. My thoughts, I would say it's kind of a good map because you're not as close to spawn and, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, anyway, that's that.